Hello, everybody. Here is your feedback from last week's questions. So we're going to start with question number 6. So question 6 says, Esteban is 6 years older than his brother Raul. The sum of their ages is 38. How old are the brothers? So I'm going to walk you through a proper solution for these types of questions. So the first thing you're going to do is your let statement. So I'm going to read it again because I like to do that. So Esteban is 6 years older than his brother Raul. So Raul's age plus 6 years is Esteban's age. That's kind of where I'm going with this. The sum of their ages is 38. How old are the brothers? So I'm going to let X, and you can pick any variable you want, as long as you pick a variable. Let X represent AOULS. So let X represent Raul's age. I can't just say let X represent a number because that's not what it's asking us in this question. So let X represent Raul's age and let X plus 6 represent Esteban's age. Okay, so these are your let statements. This is what you want to have when you're writing these types of questions, word problems where you're solving with unknowns. So your let statements. Next, you're going to create your equations. So I know that Raul's age plus Esteban's age is equal to 38, according to that question. So that's step 2, write your equation. Step 3, solve it. 2x equals 38 minus 6. 2x equals 32. Isolate for your variable. 32 divided by 2 is 16. X is equal to 16. So, let statements, equation, solve the equation. Then you're going to do your therefore. So who does X represent? Well, X represents Raul's age. So therefore, Raul is 16 years old and Esteban is, and then you can sub your 16 plus 6 and get 22 years old. There you have it, a level 4 word problem solution. Your let statements, equation, solve the equation, your therefore statements. So that is number 4. We'll take a look at number 6. So again, we're going to define our variables. You can't say let Natalie or let one number be. You have to identify it by their names because we're trying to solve the amount of goals in this case that they have scored. So it says Natalie, Chantel, and Samara play together as a forward line on a hockey team. At the end of the season, Chantel had scored 8 more goals than Natalie, while Samara scored twice as many goals as Natalie. The 3 girls scored a total of 52 goals. How many did each girl score? Well, I'm going to let Natalie I'm not going to let Natalie. I'm going to let X represent Natalie's goals because everything's happening in relation to Natalie's goals. So Chantel's scoring in relation to Natalie, Samara's scoring in relation to Natalie. So let X represent Natalie's goals. So it says Chantel scored 8 more goals than Natalie. So 8 more is X plus 8, and that's going to represent Chantel's goals. And then Samara scored twice as many as Natalie. So twice as many is 2 times more, and that will be Samara's goals. Goals. Okay, so we also know from the equation that the 3 girls scored a total of 52 goals. How many did each girl score? So we know it's a total, so that's a sum. X plus 8 plus X plus 2X equals 52. So Natalie, Chantel, Samara. So then you're going to go ahead and solve this. So 4X equals 52 minus 8. 4X and 52 minus 8 is 44. Isolate, divided by 4, divide by 4. Those cancel out. X is equal to 11. So what does that mean? Who scored 11 goals? Well, according to how we defined our variables, X represents Natalie's goals. So therefore, Natalie scored 11. Chantel scored, and we are going to sub 11 plus 8 and get 19. And Samara scored 2 times 11, which is 22 goals. So there you go. Does it all fit? There. So our let statements, our equation, we solved, and we did our therefore statement. And then let's take a look at question 9. So this one you can say, let X represent a number, because it's asking us for numbers. So it's the sum of 3 consecutive integers. So a couple things you need to understand. Consecutive means one after another after another. So in a row, like 1, 2, 3. And integers is just fancy for saying it's either a positive or negative number. So we have to do our let statements. Let X represent one number. So if I use this example with a student. If I have 2 and I want to get to the next consecutive integer, what do I have to do to get to 3? Yes, add 1. So the next number is going to be X plus 1. So that's the second number. And then the third number, we want to get 2 away from that original or add 1 more, which would be X plus 2. So let X represent the first number, let X plus 1 represent the second number, and let X plus 2 represent the third number. So we know that the sum, we're going to add them all together. X, first number, plus X plus 1, which is the second number, plus X plus 2, which is the third number, is equal to 54. So X plus X is 3X. 54. 1 plus 2 is 3. We're going to move it to the other side and subtract it to get 51. So 3x is equal to 51. And then 51 divided by 3 is 17. X equals 17. Okay? Let statements, equation, solve your equation. Then we do our therefore. So X represents our first number. The numbers are 17, and then we've got X plus 17 plus 1, which is 18, and we add X plus 2, which is actually 17 plus 2, to get 19. So the numbers are 17, 18, and 19. There you go. Whoops. Another level 4 word problem answer. And your assignment. So I'm going to go over the assignment. I'm going to use the equation. I know it's not exactly how you were supposed to do your assignment, but I think there was some issues with checking your assignment. So I'm going to go over how to do the assignment, and you can compare it with what you guys got. And again, if you ever want specific feedback, I didn't answer a question that you specifically had through this. So I'm just going to go through the assignment quickly with you guys. So it says you're to complete this by yourself, create your own algebraic equation. You are to solve your algebraic equation. So your equation must be multi-step. So that means you should have had variables on both sides of the equation. That's what it means by multi-step. So 2 marks for that. The difference of the coefficients must be greater than 1. So on your, I'm going to use the example that's given in your note, and it might not fulfill everything, but I'm going to use it anyways just to kind of show you. So the difference of the coefficients, so when I rearrange this, the difference of these coefficients has to be greater than 1. Okay? At least one constant must be greater than 9. So we've got a 10 here. Remember, constants don't have variables attached to them. At least one coefficient must be greater than 9. So in our example here, it doesn't meet this requirement. But when you make your equation, you should have had one of these numbers be greater than 9. You must solve your equation. So I've started to solve it. You've got to work through the whole thing. X equals 6. And then your final answer must be in an integer, so a whole number. So I've got that, 6. And then you need to do the check. So the check is where I think some of you kind of dropped the ball. Left side, left side and right side. So you have to set up a check that looks like this. You take your original equation, everything on the left, you write it as it is. Everything on the right, you write it as it is. Then you start subbing in your x value. Then you solve. 4 times 6 is 24, minus 2 is 22. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 10 is 22. You should get the same number on both sides of your check. Then at the end, you say, therefore, left side equals right side. You have confirmed your solution. So that part, the check, was a little bit of an issue. Just quickly looking through, I didn't see this form. So make sure you're familiar with how to do a check this way. And if you have questions, guys, just send them my way.